Black Lives Matter, it means a lot to me personally, and especially since I've grown up in a white community all my life. All my life, I've been called the nigga, I've been called the designated black friend, I've been the outsider, and as a kid, I was just accustomed to grow to that. And as I've gotten older, as I've grown as a person, I realize it's not right. I realize that I've trained my friends that it's okay to treat me that way. And I'm putting my foot down, because it's mad fucked up. It's mad fucked up, it's wrong, and this is the problem we have in Canada, in the world. We need to change. Black Lives Matter.
I'm here because my friends and I are sick and tired of seeing what we see on the news. How am I supposed to bring up children in this world where they can go on social media and see the death of our people? I don't think it's acceptable, and something's been needing to change for hundreds of years, thousands of years. I think it's important to educate ourselves, and it's important to bring people together, because at the end of the day, this is not a race war. It's a war against good against evil, and that's the realest thing I can ever say. It's not black and white. Everyone's involved. If you can see somebody get racially profiled and you can go by your day and not intervene, there's something wrong with you. You gotta fix yourself. And listen, I used to be naive, and I educated myself, and I check people whenever racial slurs are said to me or my friends or anybody I'm around. I can't live for that, and as long as I'm alive, I will die for somebody for that, straight up.
Always. Black Lives Matter to me is a matter of necessity. It's a matter of survival. It's every day. Every day we get up, we shouldn't have to live in fear. Every time I leave the house, my mom shouldn't have to worry that I might not come back. So Black Lives Matter is something that we do to fight against the system, to just rail against the system so that we can continue to exist. It's something that we have to do.
Black Lives Matter is important for me because as a black woman who is now who has grown up from being a little black girl and is now watching my younger black brothers grow up into black men, and I'm starting to not only recognize that I have to live my life in fear, but I have to now live in fear of my brothers' lives, means that I have to acknowledge that the racism that I experience goes far beyond my own personal daily experience, and then I have to stand up and make sure that all black lives are mattering, and no lives matter until black lives and indigenous lives matter, and I'm here to stand up and be a voice.
I'm here because what Black Lives Matter means to me is reworking and deconstructing the years of me feeling ashamed of being black, most of the time without even realizing it, but it was a tactic of survival. I'm here because Black Lives Matter means changing the narrative of what survival is. It means reminding people that what you see as anger, hostility, violence is just a means to get people to listen, to care, and to actually want change and make change. Black lives always has mattered, but most people just didn't care to even care.
Exactly. Right. This sign with all these names, this is just 1 month in 1 year. Almost 8,000 people are dead by now in the last decade. I'm here because there's something I call the Canadian lie, right? Hashtag it. And that's when everybody closes their eyes to the truth of the fact that racism exists right here. I was 3 years old when I was called a monkey kid and told I had monkey parents. I was about 8 years old when I was told my monkey parents don't love me. So about 4 decades later, I tell my white friends every day that I wake up and smile at you and hug you, you've been forgiven. So I'm here because I actually want to see some change, not just memes and hashtags, and us dying online now is just becoming a joke. It's just becoming a thing, and I want it to be realized that if every white person here woke up tomorrow and they existed in a completely black world, they'd have at least a taste and an idea of what we go through every day. We don't have to get killed to experience racism. That's why I'm here.
So the final question for me is this. When I look around the community, people say, oh, there they go again. You know, it's the same old same. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter today. Tomorrow, it's done. So what I want you to really think about is, what is the ultimate message here? What is it? What are some of the policy that could change it? Go ahead.
I think, you know, one of the best ways that we could change, everybody has a certain thing that they like when they go into school. They like to draw, they like to paint, and all these things. But I think black children and black people should start focusing on going more into politics and the areas of economics and from within so that we could actually change the system. So I think we should change our choices of education and start there.
Revolution, we saw the French Revolution, we've learned it in history, it was not peaceful. We don't need to shed blood like that. What we need to do is dismantle the system, and that doesn't mean just getting rid of certain politicians, it means getting rid of every single one of them. Every single police officer needs to leave. I don't want to hear the good ones, if you are truly good, if you truly are sincere, you won't mind reapplying. You won't mind going back for your election because you know it wasn't a speech that you wrote down that you forgot. You won't mind having to deal with the questions that people are throwing at you left and right, questioning your morality because you know you are authentic. The only way to truly make movement is to slowly start calling out our electors. The next election, we must ask them, are you willing to step down? Because I once heard many evil people think that they are doing the right. Pharaohs, Hitler murdered people because they thought that them being in charge meant that they had to kill everyone. They thought they were so right that no one else could do the good that they're going to do. So if you are a political leader, if you are a police officer and you think there's no one else out there that can do the good I'm going to do, you are not authentic, you are not here for black lives, you are not here for indigenous lives, you are here for yourself.
The police was established as a way to catch runaway slaves, and it was established to protect white slave owner property after the abolishment of slavery. The treaties of Canada and the treaties of the States were ways to trick indigenous people into taking their land as a way to create a lie that we had legally taken this land, that we had legally acquired this land. So for me, to create actual change, we have to undo the systems that were created by the very people that stay the most silent today. So I think for me, the solution is completely to dismantle our systems in place, is for black and brown people and indigenous people to organize and to start discussing what we want to see as a solution and stop inviting white people because their opinions have only been in their own benefit. And we have to recognize and acknowledge that the solutions lie within our own communities and our histories and our cultures.
After all the protests ends, we have to remember to be proactive, not reactive. We have to control the black dollar and control the black community. One thing we can do is make sure the black dollar cycles through our community. So long as we control the black dollar, we can't be controlled from the outside.
Amen.
I think in order to see a better tomorrow, it starts with education. So racism is a taught thing. No one is born hating another person. That is years and years of education. Oh, don't trust these people or that. So I think it starts with raising your children correctly, that every human being has a right to live. And also the school system. Teach real stuff. Like history is taught by the victor. And where are we right now? We don't learn about the land we're on, really. We don't hear about residential schools, which ended in the year I was born, 23 years ago, which was very relevant, and like that's not really talked about, and the amount of oppression First Nations have gone through. So there's so many layers we have to go through, but we have to educate people first and foremost. And I think with the right education, things can change. Knowledge yourself as well. So.
At the end of the day, the ultimate goal is reform. That's what we need. But with reform, it leads to education for the generations to come. I think it's kind of messed up that our school system spend a lot of time on teaching us what an ionic compound is, more than about how people are treated here, the racism, the slavery, the history with the British, everything. We need to focus more on the issues that are affecting us every day, everyone, and not just the things that are going to make us the most money and be good for the province. Science is not everything. We need history. We need to know about these issues, these ideas, and how we can be better people. That's what I think.
Guys, give it up for yourself. Let's. You guys have social, right? You guys.